The member for McKellar.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Industry, Science and Technology. Will the Minister please outline to the House how sticking to the national plan will support Australian manufacturers grow, create jobs and secure our economic recovery?
The Minister for Industry.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for his question, for his support of manufacturers in his electorate and for managing to beam in today. It's good to have you back. There are nearly 100,000 businesses in our manufacturing sector, Mr Speaker, and they employ over 908,000 Australians. And absolutely central to our manufacturers' ability to survive through COVID and to prosper over the coming years on the other side of COVID is two things, and this is what the manufacturers are consistently telling me. There are two critical parts of their business that they absolutely need continuity of access to. They need access to their workforces to thrive and survive, and they need access to their markets. And what they're telling me is that manufacturing cannot cope with lockdowns forever. And there was some very important information that came out as part of the national accounts, or parallel to it, the Australian Industry Group's Australian Performance of Manufacturing Index. Now, that fell, as it was expected to, in August 21 to 51.6 points. And the way in which that index works is that anything that's over 50 is still indicating that manufacturing is growing and in the expansion phase. So that figure, whilst it fell, shows the remarkable ongoing resilience of manufacturing, but it also contains a warning. In fact, there's been 11 consecutive months where there's been expansion, notwithstanding COVID, of manufacturing. But while Australia-wide manufacturing activity is still right across Australia, on average in a growth phase, the sales and the productivity in New South Wales and Victoria in manufacturing have stalled, as we would expect them to, and both those states report an index below 50. So what we have is a clear warning in these figures that we must have a consistent, clear path charted out of lockdowns in New South Wales and Victoria, and if there's not such a clear path charted and adhered to, then the lockdowns in New South Wales and Victoria won't just damage manufacturing in those states, it will damage manufacturing right across Australia. What the Morrison government is providing is that clear, consistent, known pathway out, and we're also providing a plan on the other side to grow the businesses that have the greatest comparative advantages and capacity for growth. And I want to mention one of those businesses as part of our $1.5 billion worth of modern manufacturing strategy, and that's a great business in Tasmania who's recently received a $5 million grant under the Modern Manufacturing Initiative. They're in Elphinstone in Burnie. And what is that business doing? They are developing a range of Australian-made and manufactured battery vehicles and support vehicles for mining and underground mining. And so you can imagine the demand for those sort of vehicles to replace diesel, which is both dangerous and excessive in underground settings. So what we have is a clear plan out and a plan for the future.